It's the Hangover Sports Podcast, and we're here with our wonderfully established panelist of experts on these sports. We have J.P. Grace, our runner, track star, bike fiend.
Wait,
and
JP's an expert?
Since when?
We also have Max Gray, our birthday boy. Woo!
Thanks for being born, Max.
Who also has his TikTok series, Facts with Max Gibbs Gray. And over here we have the wonderful Supreme Poppy Facebook dad that is known as Jason Statham.
The only knowledgeable one.
And of course me, your moderator and or host, Ray Johnson, who is probably just as oblivious to sports as maybe some of you, but who knows. All right. We obviously, since it is Super Bowl Sunday, would be negligent to not bring it up. So, does anyone have bets on who's going to win, or?
Yes, I put my money down on the Bengals. So, if they make me lose $25, I'm going to be very upset because that money could have gone to all the money I already have in retirement. So, I'll just leave it right there for now.
What about you, Max?
Hopefully the Bengals win, but it's gonna be a great game. You know, you got two solid quarterbacks in Joe Burrow and Matthew Stafford, with two great passing games and two top-notch defenses. It looks like a very evenly playing field. I probably have the Rams winning, but it's a close one.
You see, on the football field, I think they should put like a mountain right in the middle of it.
Yeah.
Just so
Make it more like an obstacle course.
Right.
I'm just going to go with the Bengals because they're the underdogs. That's my only take on it. I'm not going to be like that person on the radio and say, I don't know what both teams are. I just hope they have fun.
Oh, that was so funny.
Yeah.
We all actually heard in the car ride this past weekend before today about how a lady was saying how she didn't really know who to root for. She just hopes that both teams have a good time and that they both do their best, and she doesn't care who wins. And, I mean, it's a great attitude to have in the sense of, like, you know, not being too upset if your team loses kind of thing. But at the same time, you should at least root for someone. What do you think about that, Max?
Sounds like not the right answer.
Max, that's a great answer, okay?
Yeah. Round of applause.
We're not trying to use certain words here on the show right now, so.
Oh, okay, because you don't want me to have to voice over you said a bad word or something?
Maybe not.
We have to make the editing a little easier.
Trying to make the
I got
editing process a little bit easier.
Yeah, because you said some dirty words that I can't hear.
What can I say?
You dirty little boy, you.
JP got on my nerve. What can I
So
say?
speaking of the wrong answer, I remember you guys talking about how one particular person preferred the summer over the Winter Olympics. And since the Winter Olympics is in session right now, Max, what are your updates for the ones you've seen so far?
Ones you've seen? See here. Biathlon was last night. One of the biathlon races, women's biathlon, that was a close race, but when I mean close, it was not close at all. One of the ladies won by a whole minute, so that was something that was well worth watching.
So does that mean it's like a minute to win it?
Exactly.
Hey, that was actually a game show.
Yeah, exactly.
The curling team ended up playing yesterday and got a win, so that was nice.
Men's or women's?
Men's.
Nice.
Men's, and then eventually today the U.S. Hockey team beat Germany, so they will be able to earn the top seed in the knockout round.
Nice.
That's
pretty good.
Women's hockey.
That sounds
Men's
good.
hockey, yeah.
I think Sweden beat Canada yesterday. I think in curling. So I was pretty happy about that.
I mean, between the two of them, it's more just which country with the most winter weather is going to win. Because either one of them is going to be good. So it's more just like, which one of these two practices this sport more kind of deal. So even though, JP, you have tried to say that you like the Winter Olympics, but Max would shut you down about how you didn't hate on it. Have you seen any of the Winter Olympics?
Yeah, the biathlon was pretty cool, which we saw yesterday. I thought it was a very interesting sport. I really didn't know this was there. I liked how the gun shooting was involved, and it was a pretty great sport. I'm happy that Max introduced me to it.
Awesome, yeah. I love the format too. I was also there. Jason was preoccupied.
Well, I think I went to, what was that? I probably went to bed.
Yeah, because
Jason,
it
this is how I
was
feel
it was
about
late.
Wait, dang.
Okay, JP, come on. If you're gonna do a gag, time it
Why isn't
right.
it working?
You have to put
That's
a
Good
Sorry
job.
about
Wow.
that.
Okay. Wow.
No, wow.
Wow. That was very
Delayed.
effective. Good job. Okay. But yeah, because of the time difference of where the Olympics are hosted in Beijing, it makes sense that it was premiering here later in the evening. It was originally scheduled for 11:30 p.m., but due to the other sport beforehand running over, it was shown slightly later than that, I believe. So yeah, I don't blame you for being in bed, because if it weren't for the fact that it's a sport I've never seen, I probably would have been too. But yes, it was very cool to see this. There we go. But it was very cool to see the skiing and then them shooting and seeing visibly how the women would try to calm down their heart rate from transitioning to the different aspects of the biathlon and be really accurate with the shooting. I was astonished that the most anyone would miss is just one. It was crazy.
You know, it's interesting. When I was out to lunch yesterday, there was a women's PGA golf tournament on.
Really?
Yeah. And I was so happy because a lady from Sweden was winning. She had a score of -3, which -3 is
That's
an incredible
really
day.
good,
Like,
yeah.
that is just amazing. And yeah, she was ahead, so I don't know how it went like after that, but I was like,
Wait, what day was it? Was it like Thursday or Friday?
I was watching it yesterday.
Oh, yesterday? Okay.
It was like the Phoenix Open or
Okay.
something like that.
Because I was just thinking that usually like -3, that tends to be one of the first 2 days of like a 4-day or 3-day tournament.
So it might have been a replay then.
Yeah. Because that's usually how the standing is. Because sometimes it's like much lower. Like I've seen tournaments where on Saturday, on the PGA for the guys, they would have like 10 under or something crazy like that.
Yeah.
You know, because just more rounds have been played and that kind of stuff. But
Imagine being 10 under. I'm like 40
right?
over.
I mean, you are the Supreme Poppy. So, you
Right.
know.
I gotta weigh out my cost per shot options, you know.
Yeah, I've really missed playing and watching golf, so I probably should try to catch up with that. Because one of my favorite players is Michelle Wie, so I really want to see how she's been doing. Although I think she's been taking it easy lately because she's got married and all that. So
It's nice because this female golfer, her first name was the same first name as one of my cousins.
oh, that's funny.
Which is Linnea. Well, like Linnea is, I think, like a very Swedish name.
JP, for once in a conversation, we're not talking about your numerous cousins. It's
Yeah,
actually
right.
Jason's
One of my
cousin.
cousins. You know what I say to JP's cousins?
Oh, what do you say?
You're saying that like about 25% of Long Island.
Wait, your cousins don't take up the entirety of Long Island?
I wouldn't be surprised.
That is shocking.
So back to the Winter Olympics, because we kind of sidetracked there just a little bit with talking about golf. I wanted to get more of your perspective on what you've told us is one of your favorite sports, curling, on the statistics for that. Because I think you said someone won an event, but I'm sure you followed it more closely than that, surely, because it's one of your favorites.
So when it comes to the curling aspect, it's they are playing right now actually. What's today?
It's kind of a slippery situation to be a part of, isn't it?
Oh my gosh.
But
This just looked
the
like
United States ended up playing.
I started laughing at it. I did, right?
Yeah. The United States mixed doubles team lost 10-8 yesterday to the Czech Republic. So that was a tough loss actually this morning.
We're just not going to acknowledge it.
Yeah, we're not gonna. We as Americans, if we don't win, we just don't even bother bringing it up. That's the way I sort of see it. Exactly.
JP,
JP,
do
no one
better.
asked. No one asked.
You can barely even hear that.
You can barely hear
Yeah,
it.
exactly.
What's the point?
But and then the mixed doubles team also, but the mixed doubles team beat China yesterday. So they lost this morning, but they won yesterday morning, which was a good start. So they're now they're be able to be 2-1 because they beat Sweden on opening on Friday. So they are making things happen when it happens. So that one loss is not going to kill them in the long run.
That's true. I mean, obviously, it's a disappointing blow for, American pride and all that, but the fact that it's just one, yeah, that definitely shouldn't kill any chances for future games.
Right now they're 4-1, so
Yeah. That's pretty good statistic
it.
there, yeah. So, JP, you also want to bring up something in the sports world happening for NBA, right?
That's right. So we just saw the trade deadline end last Friday, and this is one of the most active trade deadlines that I've seen in a while. Actually, we saw some
Take a quick guess. I want to take a quick guess that people, in fact, got traded.
Yo,
Whoa!
bro.
Mind blowing.
Was I actually right?
Yeah, people got traded. Wow. but there were some interesting ones, and I'll bring them up with Max. So the Sixers trade for Hardin. They got James Hardin, obviously one of the best guards in the East, and Paul Millsap, who is a big veteran for the big NBA veteran, big front court player. So that's a good trade for them. The Nets get Ben Simmons, who very controversial, so I'll bring that up with Max in a second. They got Seth Curry, a solid Seth, not Steph, but Seth Curry, who
What do you bet we start getting copyright strike for using it that much, honestly?
No, but,
even though it's literally probably loyalty free.
back to where I was
You
going.
know what I would say to that?
Sorry, JP, we didn't mean to interrupt you so
you're
You know,
rudely.
if we get copyrighted or trademarked out, whatever, I just go up to people and be like,
Oh my gosh, Jason! Okay, JP, you may continue.
No, back to what I was saying. The Nets got Seth Curry, a good backcourt player, also Steph Curry's brother, and then Andre Drummond, who's kind of been off of the radar. He had a good start to last season with the Cavs, but now he's kind of out of it. But I think he's a solid pickup. But then the Nets got two 22 first-round picks, and then a 2027, so that's a while from now, first-round draft pick. So I want to ask Max, who do you think won that trade?
I think it's probably a fair trade.
Do you think it's a fair trade?
Yeah.
Even though Simmons has not played at all.
Yeah. Well, in the sense, the Sixers obviously have won the trade, but in the sense of that, the Sixers needed to win. He needed to trade him because Sixers, as you see in the Sixers, it's a liability. And, Brooklyn, you need defense. That's the thing is, the Sixers didn't need defense, but Brooklyn does need defense. So
that is true.
So it's for me. You can say it's not a fair trade, but in hindsight, what the teams needed, it's not that bad on the grand scheme of things.
That is true, because if you look at what Hardin brings, I completely agree with you. Because if you see what Hardin brings, he can bring those 22 points and 7 assists that Ben Simmons can't, and Paul Millsap will also add a little bit of extra fire to that. And I guess I agree with you on that as well. The Nets, Ben Simmons has not played, and I don't disagree. He can't really shoot for his life, but he does bring that defensive intensity that you just mentioned.
That's what they need.
And they have Seth Curry now as a backcourt replacement. So I like that trade. I completely agree with you. I think the Sixers got a little bit of the better of it, but that's all I had to it. And then the second trade I'll bring up is the Porzingis to Wizards trade. So this one was a bit smaller, but it will have an impact, I think. So the Mavericks just sent their big man, Kristaps Porzingis, who was traded from the Knicks a few years ago, and he hasn't had the potential that he had on the Knicks since the Knicks, but he's had a great season so far. He's a little bit injury prone, but the Mavericks sent him to the Wizards for Spencer Dinwiddie and Davis Bertans. Who do you think won that trade?
Probably the team that got Kristaps Porzingis, but like if you look at Dinwiddie's a really nice player to have on your team, especially
That
in a
is true.
supporting role. Like you could say that like the Knicks not the Knicks, but the Mavs
Mavericks.
lost, but like I'm like hindsight. It's not the end of the world if I get Dinwiddie.
Yeah,
It's not like it's a horrible trade. It's just maybe the Mavericks slightly lost, but that's
Yeah.
it's not that bad of a trade on the grand scheme of things, though.
Now the Celtics gave the Rockets one of their best players, Dennis Schroeder, who was a big target for in the free agency last year for a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
So that's an interesting trade. I'm not going to talk about that one that much, but it does give the Rockets some potential now with a great backcourt player. The Bucks got Serge Ibaka from the Clippers, and Kings were involved in that trade as well. So I think that's a big pickup for them. It adds more depth to their front court. The Pistons, Marvin Bagley Jr. was sent to the Pistons from the Kings in the three-team trade. Marvin Bagley is a great center, so that'll do good for them. Hornets acquire Montrezl Harrell from the Wizards. So I thought this was a bad trade. However, Porzingis did make up for it, I guess. So that was a trade that I was a little upset about for the Wizards fan, because he does bring in offense, but now they have Porzingis, who will hopefully stay healthy for that.
Stealthy.
Yeah, he will stay stealthy. He can shoot threes. Now I'm going to get to the last one, and this one was a very controversial one. So the Kings and Sabonis Pacers trade. So Tyrese Halliburton, Buddy Hield, Tristan Thompson go to the Pacers. Kings get DeMontis Sabonis, Justin Holiday, and Jeremy Lamb, and the 2023 second-round pick. Who do you think won that?
Like, obviously, on the grand scheme of things, you would say the team that got Sabonis. So I would
Yeah.
say that slightly won it, but, like, I'm not going to argue what they were able to get in return. They got a bunch of players who could play now, and you got a future draft picks.
The Pacers didn't get any future draft picks.
The other team got the future draft picks, but
Yeah.
like you got a bunch of players that can help you now. Sabonis, yeah, you lost Sabonis, but like it's probably the team that they gave away Sabonis, but they're right now in the shopping mode, so they're not really waiting for that, because I feel like they're not in a win now mode anymore.
Yeah,
I feel like they're in a rebuilding mode.
I do agree with you. Both teams look like they're in the rebuilding mode, and that just but Sabonis is a very valuable player, so I think the Pacers gave up too much there. But at the same time, they do get Buddy Hield, who's a great point guard, backcourt player. He can do well for them, but I think the Kings won that trade. And the last trade that I really want to bring up with you is the Pelicans Trailblazers trade that split up C.J. McCollum from Damian Lillard. Now, I think we both agree that the Trailblazers lost that trade. I don't even need to mention.
We don't even need to go into it.
And, I mean, that kind of concerns me about Damian Lillard's future on the team. Do you think he's going to leave anytime soon? Because I think he needs to go if he wants to have this NBA career.
When they shop him, they'll shop him. But, like, what I would say about, like, Damian Lillard is there's been plenty of times where he could have left, but he decided to stay. So that's a rouse to his character in the sense of, like, I think Damian Lillard will get traded before he signs somewhere else.
That is true.
I don't think he's going to get demand a trade. I think it will be,
Yeah, I mean, looking who the Trailblazers gave up a lot of other key members of their team, like Larry Nance, and Tony Snell. So it's an interesting trade, but yeah, I think the Blazers lost that. But the Pelicans, they add C.J. McCollum with the Brandon Ingram, so I think that's a big plus for their team, obviously. But the Trailblazers are not going in the direction you want to see them go as a Trailblazers fan.
Yeah.
So I'm praying for all you Trailblazers fans out there right now.
And speaking of trailblazing, I wanted to check in with Jason on any updates for the MLB.
Yes, so the MLB, what can I say about the MLB? Major League Baseball, yay!
Woo!
But in retrospect, with all the things that the MLB's been doing, we have to bring up yet again our favorite sound.
Jason.
Because between the commish and between the other owners, they can't decide anything. All they do is meet with each other, and they're probably only talking about what they're going to have for dinner tonight. And that's really the only thing they talk about in their meetings.
Oof.
So the owners, the MLB, the MLB Players Association, they can't decide anything. And so now it's just a matter of spring training is supposed to be starting, I believe, next week. Like at least like this coming week at the earliest.
Mm-hmm.
And the commissioner made a big announcement on Thursday that they are talking, but they haven't decided anything, and the season is more than likely going to be delayed. But even with the Red Sox, the CEO and president Sam Kennedy, he's still optimistic, which is good. Because he probably knows pretty well that the season's going to be delayed, but he's like, hey, we're just going to assume that business as usual, and we're still going to sell tickets for, the games. We're going to still feel and believe that stuff is going to happen. We're just going to treat everything like it's just a normal season until we get told otherwise, right? And so they haven't been told otherwise yet, so they're just going to – so everybody's kind of just hoping it's going to work out, right?
Yeah.
Fingers crossed, but it's kind of looking pretty dire. So we'll see. It kind of stinks that both sides can't really agree on anything.
So would you say it's dire on the diamond?
Exactly. Very well said, right? Just in the sense that, the players want money, the Players Association doesn't want to give money, and, the owners want as much money as they can. So it's all money related. The more money, more problems. That's what I always say. So that's another.
A lot of truth to that.
Yeah. So this is just another kind of prime example of that. So we'll see. Not much good news coming out of that side of things, which is so sad because, my job is impacted by it now, and when I eventually do have an interview with the team. Like whatever job I do get will also be
team.
Which
one?
So I've got the interview with the Red Sox tomorrow at 1 o'clock. Yeah. So it's just an initial interview, so we'll kind of see how it goes. But if, even in the position that I'm interviewing for, like that could easily be impacted by it.
Exactly.
So no matter what, it's more than just like the players and the owners get impacted by it. It's like literally hundreds upon hundreds of people.
Oh, for sure.
That are employees. That do get affected by it, right?
Hey, Jason, this is what we have to say about that.
Oh,
wait,
no. JP, just don't.
Wait, no,
the
it's
gag
not that.
is done.
It's not that.
Just don't.
It's not that. It's this.
Oh, it's not?
Make sure the volume's up. I can't even hear.
JP? Okay. You tried and you failed. It's okay.
You know what?
Stupid
Here.
Expedia.
What I find ironic, though, is how the MLB officials have yet to start their season, and yet something as incredibly wholesome and small-scaled in comparison as Little League has been able to start.
So all the little kids right now, they're going so Little League's up and running. My cousins down in Texas, they're playing. I think one of my cousins just won some kind of like Little League championship. So we're pretty happy with him about that. He is a pitcher, and apparently he's doing really well at pitching. And so, he's got to make sure, he keeps up his arm and all that good stuff. And so,
Well, I hope his arm is up, not down or
right.
detached or.
Exactly. he just finds it in like the middle of the woods somewhere.
Yeah, just as a home run, the arm is also attached to the ball.
It just keeps on going and going and going.
See, JP, there you go. That's how you do the volume.
Kids losing their arm? Gosh,
so grotesque, JP. That's really great.
So it's nice to see that's working out in Texas, and I'm sure as the winter kind of exits and the warmer seasons enter. I'm sure the rest of the country will kind of follow the same path, right?
Right. Here's to hoping.
Yeah, exactly.
And I honestly was impressed when JP asked you about the NBA picks, because I also noticed you were watching a game. So what are the stats of that right now?
Right now,
Max is not paying attention.
He still gave good answers, though. You have to admit.
High Point and Virginia are tied at 6. Number 1, Virginia, and High Point University.
Oh,
Third quarter.
wait. Oh, it's lacrosse?
Yes.
Huh. I was going to say we don't have football, as we've already discussed on a previous podcast.
We do not, but we do have a solid lacrosse team.
JP, stop. Only Jason has the right to do that.
I didn't think that was going to go off.
Well, unless there's anything else you guys want to talk about for something I haven't brought up, do you want to end it, or?
Jason, Max?
I'll take that as a no.
The HBU men's basketball team lost last night.
Yeah, it was kind of sad.
Miserably.
And ironically enough, it was against one of my friends who attends the college that won, Campbell University. And I sent a message when the rare moment where here at High Point we were in the lead. I'm like, our teams are playing against each other. So I'm sure she definitely knows by now that Campbell won.
Campbell won, sadly.
Yeah. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. We hope you enjoy the Super Bowl weekend, as I'm sure you guys know that we all are, considering that it's Max's birthday, in tangent with it being the Super Bowl. And we appreciate your listening, viewership, and everything. Have a great rest of your week, and don't get hungover. Bye.